Hold your applause. So I'm back from treatment. I think I was pretty transparent before I left about why I needed to go. If you need an update, um, I'm mentally ill, and um, shit just kind of went sideways with just like life in general, and kind of expectations I had um, surrounding my top surgery, and I couldn't really deal anymore. So so I I went to a treatment center in Massachusetts, about 30 minutes outside of Boston. Um, and to be honest, I didn't have the best of times there. I met some really cool people. Thanks, Lydia. I'm happy to see you. I'm really happy to see you. I hope you've been doing well. I think last time I saw you, you were having some trouble with your allergies, so I hope that that's gotten a lot better for you, or at least a little bit, because I know you're really struggling there. So I'm happy to see you, happy to be back. It's a little overwhelming, if I'm being honest. I feel like I had a lot of time to kind of just reflect on how bad my mental illnesses have gotten. Um, and it was, while I didn't have the best experience at the facility that I was at, I did get some good like kernels of things that I'm like prepared to work towards changing in the future. So it's nice to have that like um, time away to get some perspective when you kind of feel trapped. So not trapped, but yeah, I guess trapped. So I Hey Temmie, thank you. Happy to be back. I hope you're doing well. Um, I guess I'll just kind of give you all the full rundown of what kind of went on. Obviously, I'm not going to be talking about any other patients there because that is their private health information. But I can talk about my experience and compare and contrast against other facilities and things that I've been through at other places. Um, so as some of you know, I have developed quite crippling agoraphobia. And for those of you who don't know much about agoraphobia, it's basically an anxiety about leaving a place that you kind of identify as like a safe place. So for me, it was my house. For a lot of people, it's their house. So I had trouble going out, completing tasks in the outside world. Occasionally, I would just be motivated enough that I could blow past that anxiety and function, but it, it wasn't all the time, and I kind of had to, force myself to push past that. So I get to the airport, and I had already planned on using the disability assistance that most airlines offer. Pretty sure all of them offer, but I can't speak to that. So most of them offer. So for me, that looked like I was in a wheelchair, um, driven by a staff member, and um, so I had never done that before, and this is the first time flying since my agoraphobia has kind of flared up. I knew the airport was going to be a very hectic place, very busy, lots of people, tightly packed, and so that all gave me so much anxiety that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make it to my gate if I can't even like get through security. Like security is going to be like, why are you acting weird? And it's because I'm so anxious. So I got help. I asked for help and I did receive help, both to and from Massachusetts. Um, and it was a really positive experience. I got to go through kind of like the priority security. It was a lot less stressful, a lot less crowded. The staff members who were driving the wheelchair were patient with me, and that was really nice. Um, so uh, if you need wheelchair assistance at the airport, I do recommend it. They do drive a little bit recklessly and they just like bump into things. And like, I'm a very like jumpy person. I have a lot of anxiety. So like, it would like literally like jump out of my skin every time they'd like bump into something. So that was a little like hectic, but everything else was totally fine. And they'd take me to my gate, they'd have me seated. Um, on the flight back, so the flight there, I took Delta, and on the flight back, I took JetBlue. And JetBlue, like they even like were able to, so like I got priority, like seating, like I got to go like and be among the first people on the plane, which was really nice for me because I didn't have to worry about the anxiety of like people waiting on you and you're holding up the whole line of people trying to get into your seat and put your carry on wherever and all that stuff. So it was really, really nice and like really necessary for me. I don't think that this was like a unreasonable ask. Hey mommy, I've been seeing all your um, great posts on Facebook. So I feel like I feel like I've missed you. I miss talking to you, but like I feel like I've been able to see like glimpses here and there of all of your great travels. So thank you for welcoming me back. So I had the wheelchair assistance. Being on the plane itself was not a problem for me. I'm very comfortable on planes. My dad's a pilot. I've flown um, a number of times, so planes don't bother me. So that was like the easy part, was just kind of being on the plane. And then you'd have kind of the craziness of getting off the plane and stuff like that. But if you ask for wheelchair assistance to get onto the plane and to get through security and all that, they set up usually, if there's communication happening, they set up a wheelchair to be ready for you when you get off the plane. So that was really, really nice to not have to worry about like trying to figure out where to go in this new airport that I'm not super familiar with. Was really happy with that experience overall. It took as much of the anxiety that could be taken away out of the experience. So then the facility has drivers, I guess, kind of on not on staff necessarily, but kind of like they just have people that they can call that will um, pick you up and take you to the facility. And so going there, first of all, the guy would not shut up. He was just like talking and talking, and like I'm having like all this anxiety about going into this new situation and all this stuff. And he's just like blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, please, like and then like he was saying some pretty insensitive stuff, like, talking about other people who he's driven to this facility, and he was calling people who went to the facility like lunatics, which actually, believe it or not, is not helpful for people who are mentally ill. We don't like to hear that other people think we're lunatics. Believe it or not. I know, crazy. So I was just like, get me the fuck out of this car. Um, and then uh, we got to the place. I did my intake. Um, Most of the stuff had been done over the phone, so we didn't get too clinical with what I had available. But they did something that I thought that was a little different than my former experiences. So they take your clothes, so they have like a screen you can change behind, and like they take your clothes, and then they're and like and all of your clothes in your bag that you brought, and they like put them through. They said they were gonna sanitize them, and I was like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? What are you gonna do? I think they just put it in a dryer. I think that's their sanitization. Um, I don't really know, but then so you're in scrubs, so you look like a big stick of gum. Happy that you're back, Rosemary. Thank you so much, Tammy. I really appreciate that. Um, and the facility itself, so it primarily it was made to be for people who have substance use disorder, um, and eventually recently they made a mental health wing, and so people could be dual diagnosed with substance use disorder and mental health issues, but I was just there for mental health. So that wing is only 3 months old, and it shows like it was pretty rough, and there were so many like a pretty big lack of communication across the board. People telling you they'll get to you today, and then 2 days later they still haven't gotten to you. Um, in the intake call, they say that you're going to see your therapist 1 to 2 times a week. I had to self advocate way more than I've ever had to self advocate um, in a treatment facility. And the thing is, like, everyone's kind of at different stages of their mental health journey. Some people, it's their first time in treatment. Some people, it's their like 50th. Me. Um, and Also, like, some people are calmer and trying to get control over their situation. Some people are in crisis. And I just like this facility, it just didn't, like, people were not trained in dealing with crises. And it just kind of was a shit show for like 50% of the time. Like, if nothing was popping off, things were fine. But like the nurses, don't talk to this person, don't talk to this person. I went there largely due to medication management, and I had to fight tooth and nail to see, uh, and I was like, I don't even want to talk. Like, so they had a nurse, um, PA, who did your med intake and just kind of went over the meds that you were on. And then I went a week, didn't see anyone, and I was like, hey, like, I'm here for medication management. Like, I'm not seeing anyone. There's a psychiatrist, and I've never seen him before, not even in the halls. Yeah, it was really bad. And like, I luckily, I was still rapid cycling up until like maybe 2 or 3 days into treatment. Um, and so I had a hypomanic episode. Um, and Granted, it wasn't the worst, episode I've ever had, but like I tend to get like a little destructive. So I started like knocking over chairs, not violently, but I just like gently pushing them over. If something can be knocked over and I'm in that state, I do it. And so it was like they had like a screen that like was by the nurse's station, and it just fucking went right over, and I just was just like boop. And I was like having fun. I was just like, it's super fun to be destructive because my brain's like fucking melting. And then they had like a Zen room, which no one ever used. Some people didn't even know it existed, which is sad because it was a very small unit. So like, to not know that something is right there, a resource is right there for your use, just again shows just kind of how like poor like communication was. and just kind of like helping people get help. Um, and so I was in the Zen room, and like a case manager was talking to me because like getting to see a therapist was like pulling teeth. And so like I was like pulling hair. I was like, that's not the right analogy. It's like pulling teeth, you know? And and like it shouldn't be like that. Like in these facilities, like usually they kind of like swarm you and like inundate you with like the amount of help that you get. And here you had to fight tooth and nail to get it. Yes, I did crochet. I will get to that. Um, so, uh, so yeah, so a case manager who that's not their job to be a therapist had to sit in this Zen room with me while I was like blah, 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 like I was like talking a mile a minute, and and uh, I was like, I had this, we had like a bean bag for some reason, and I just was like tossing it like back and forth, and I was like hitting it against the wall, thumping it against the wall, and just like blah 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 blah. Like my mind's just jumping from one topic to another, which is very common with hypomania and mania. And eventually, like I was able to get to a point where I was like, okay, I know I need my PRN, which means as needed medication for hypomania and mania. I don't always like taking it. Sometimes I'm a little resistant to taking it because sometimes, especially with bipolar, which is what one of the things I have, it's like if you're up here and you take something to like kind of help you crash, you can dip below and go into depression. And so oftentimes when I use it on an as needed basis, I start to feel a little bit depressed. So, or more depressed, depending on how I'm doing. So sometimes I'm a little resistant to taking it, but here I was like, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go nap. I'm gonna sleep it off and try to get my life together. So like yeah, like because like therapists, psychiatrists, and the nurse PA were so hard to get a hold of, the case managers are acting as therapists, which they're not qualified for. So why are they doing it? Like they're trying to like pull the weight of another job, and again that they're not qualified to do. So it was pretty messy with all of that. And some of the nurses were amazing, were great. Other nurses just came in with a bad attitude and just did not have any tolerance for people in crisis, which is just a fucking piss poor attitude to have if you're working on a mental health unit. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. Like, don't work with mentally ill people if you can't work with mentally ill people. So, so that being said, so that's enough about the facility. I knew it wasn't the facility for me early on, and I was trying to get out without doing what is called an AMA, which means against medical advice. So if you leave a facility on an AMA, there are some consequences depending on your insurance and depending on the facility and all these things. So for me, there were several consequences. One, the a charity sponsored me to get up to the facility and was going to sponsor me to get back. If I AMA'd, I would not be able to use that charity. It was contingent on the completion of the program. So I would not be able to fly back home. I would be stuck in Massachusetts. So that was a pretty big reason. Two, insurance might not pay for it. I know at my other facility, if I AMA'd, insurance would not pay for it. So I assumed that that was the case for this one. And then also, it can impact your ability to get care in the future if you have a reputation for going into a facility being like, fuck this, and leaving. So there would be people who were like, so like, I got to the point where I got really upset, and I was like, I've been trying to leave without AMAing because cognizant enough to know that this isn't the facility for me. I knew that very early on, communicated that to as many people as possible. And then, like, one case manager walked up to me when I was like really upset. I had been advocating for 5 days to get out because I knew that this wasn't the facility for me and I wasn't going to waste my time or anyone else's. I was going to get as much as I could out of the program. I didn't shut myself off to getting help, but I knew that if they couldn't do med management, this isn't the facility for me. So, but what sucks is that you're looking at other people, and other people are in such a state of crisis that they can't ask for that help. They don't know how. They don't know how to ask for that help in a calm way that people respond well to. So they just get ignored. So I saw so many people slip through the cracks. It is appalling. Um, and like like finally got an early completion of the program. Um, so instead of being there 28 days, I was there for like 14, 15, something like that. But yeah, so how it worked is you only got your clothes when you came in. Everything else you brought in was put away in storage. And every single thing that you wanted out of your suitcase, you had to ask for specifically. You had to write it down, ask for specifically. So it was like, what did I throw in my suitcase? Like, I was like, what yarn did I throw in my suitcase? And like, um, they they pulled the whole like, oh, we don't know if you can have your crochet hooks. Some of them look really sharp. And like half the people call them knitting needles, and I'm like, it's not a fucking knitting needle. It's a hook. Like, here, take one out of the bag and try to stab yourself with one. Like, that's what I want to say. But like, and sometimes I've said like, feel it on your hand. Like, it's not sharp. And like, literally, we have plastic forks that are sharper than this. Like, please, come on. But so they kept everything behind the nurse's station, and I had to ask for it specifically. And like, I had all of my hooks in a bag. I don't have my bag here. All of my hooks in like a Ziploc bag, and they kept on like just like dropping it for like 2 or 3 feet above the drawer, like into the drawer. And I was like, if my furls get broken, I will hurt you. It's like, stop dropping my fucking furls. And I planned ahead and I boxed up it, like in the original boxes that they came in. I boxed up my furls, so hopefully I haven't checked them yet, but like hopefully they made it through the trip safely. But I did crochet some, and I didn't crochet as much as I expected. Granted, I wasn't gone that long, um, but I did. So I did get commissioned while I was there to make a pair of leg warmers, which I hate leg warmers. I think they're so ugly. I don't want that trend to ever come back or ever be around. I hate them. But if you're paying me, I'll make you fucking whatever if you're paying me. So I use my Red Heart Super Saver in Mexicana. And it was my suggestion because first of all, the girl wanted what I'm going to show you, the green color that I used for part of the shawl I'm making, and I was running out of it, and she was like, "Oh, I want that color." I was like, "Nope," and, and like I was like, "I don't plan on being here for long enough for you, like Joanne, to come in." So I was like, "But I do have this Mexicana color, and I can do like black cuffs." And I think that would look really nice. So we did that. And so the thing about Mexicana is like sometimes like what depending on like the number of stitches and where you are in the ball of yarn, sometimes it pulls really nicely and like unintentionally it just like looks like a really cool psychedelic rainbow. And then other times it doesn't pull and it just looks like a bunch of rainbow colors, which is still really pretty. Both are really pretty, but I did one exact same number of stitches on both on each leg, and one pulled and one didn't, so they looked totally different. And I was like, if you don't like this, I can make another one, and whichever one matches up, you can take the pair. And she was like, no, this is fine. And I was like, okay. So I charged $25 for those, and she gave me 40. Not bad. um and so for that one I did a ribbed cuff, and then I did uh i think I did an extended single crochet, um just because I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just do like a single crochet all the way around, but I also thought that a double crochet would just have too many holes in it, because the length of the post, you can get those gaps in there. So I did an extended single crochet, but they were honestly, every time I looked at them, I was like, they are so ugly. I almost was like, stop telling people I made them for you because they're so ugly. But let's talk about what I made. So I ran out of yarn. This is an entire skein of olive drab, uh, and uh, yeah, I got money for them. Yeah, people were asking me left and right to make them stuff for free, which we all know as crocheters and knitters, like people love to do that. But like, unless it's a gift for you, I'm not just making you shit for free. And some people were like, "I'll buy you the yarn." I'm like, "Are you gonna buy my fucking hands hurting? Like, are you gonna buy that?" And they're like, "Oh, I can't do that. Conflict of interest." And I was like, "Get fucked." So it's about half of a shawl. So this is a modification on a pattern that I got from my Crochet Stitch dictionary. I really like this book. It's it could go into a little bit more detail to be a little bit more clear about how to do certain stitches, but yeah. So this is a modification. Let me find the stitch. It was called like a crazy this or something like that. I was like, that sounds made up. Okay, so let's see. The crazy picot mesh. So I'll show you what the original looked like. I think I'm gonna write this up as a pattern. I'm also gonna figure out. I'm gonna try to figure out the increases and decreases for this so that you can make like a triangular um, shawl, or I was thinking it would look really cool as like a parallelogram. Does anyone know what that is? It's like kind of like if you had like a rectangle and you stepped on it and it kind of squished like that way. So I think that would be really cool looking, or even just like a um, whatever the name of that shape is. Okay, 140. So, but yeah, I just like, but so stopped remembering what I had brought with me. So this is the stitch that I then altered because I felt like I wanted it to look a little bit more mossy. As you all know, or may remember, I wanted this to be the season of the Swamp Witch, and I felt like I just wanted it to look like a little bit more mossy. So Mel said it was like gilly mesh or something. I don't know, but like the things that like hunters use and stuff like that. I got that vibe super hard for this, so I added like an extra peacoat, and then like I said, I'm gonna try to figure out the increases and decreases for this, and then I think I have uh a roving tonal green um that like I really want to use and like incorporate and kind of like weave it in to this. So it's like I want it to be like patches of moss. I don't have a lot of it, so I'm just trying to like stretch it as much as I can. But I need more of this color because this is clearly not enough to wrap around fucking anything. But yeah, this is my Swamp Witch thing, and I think it'll go really well with my Swamp Witch hood. See? Okay, so then I had the idea to do a bouquet for Mel, and again, couldn't really remember the colors I brought. I knew I brought my bright Halloween colors. So I didn't even remember that I brought another black, which is super annoying because when I opened it when I was leaving, I was like, fuck, there were so many colors. So I made some flowers. This is a pipe cleaner. I'm just kind of twirled around and then attached in the back. Um, but so like it's just it's not like the romance that I like wanted. Like this, I think this is fuck ugly. Like I like the design. I'm really happy with the design of it because the way I did my decrease, it made them have a natural curl to them, which I thought looked really nice. And I liked this kind of loop design. I think I just chained 7 and then slip stitch into the first stitch and then uh, attached it like that. So I like the idea of this, but I fucking hate the colors. Mel doesn't like it either, so that works out. And then I did a lavender. I think I might have overstuffed it maybe a little bit, but I put it on a pipe cleaner. But here's the thing. Yeah. So, I think I'm gonna do more flowers, and then I'm gonna do like crochet a pot so that these can kind of be supported a little bit more, and we can get some more height out of them. Maybe I'll um, stick another pipe cleaner in there. But that's really all I crocheted. I mean, like I can't show you the leg warmers, and like I said, even if I could, use dowel rods. Yeah, that would be a better idea for sure. But I want them to have like some curvature, like like lavender kind of. I guess you could use the dowel rod like up to the middle, and then the top could kind of have some like movement. But yeah, basically all I did was I did these bunches where I would I think I chain 7 for these two. Chain 7, slip stitch into the second from the last one, and then chain 7 again, slip stitch into the last, chain 7 again, slip stitch into the stitch you didn't slip stitch into of the original, and then I just would move up the thing. So maybe a wire coat hanger. Yeah. So that's all I did. My hands started to get really, really tired from crocheting, and um, so a lot of the yarn I used. So the this is Big Twist Value. This is Premier Basic. This is Big Twist Value. This is Premier Basic. Um, this is Big Twist Value. So like all of them are like super splitty. Super, 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 super splitty. And I just couldn't use my furls with them. So I had to use um my uh fuck what are they called? What are the names of the other hooks I use? Clover Moors. Okay. Clover Moors. Yeah, I had to use those, which they're great hooks. I love them. They work with most types of yarn. The only time I don't use them if I want to use them is if they are squeaky with the yarn, because I can't stand that shit. It drives me fucking bonkers. Um, uh, but I like all of this stuff I could not use my furls with, so I had to adapt my grip a little bit, and that was a little annoying. So, anyways, that's just me complaining. But I did get to test out a bunch of like I would just like pick a page, try a stitch, undo it, and then try another stitch. I did like a little like a swatch of like just trying different stitches, and one was like, it was one, was it, I think it had a bobble to it. I don't quite remember, but yeah, I just like would like try stitches, and then I would frog it, and then I would try a new stitch, and then frog it, just so that, when did I get back home? I got back home last night. My plane was an hour delayed, and we were on the tarmac for that whole hour, which was annoying, but it happened. So got back home around like 9. Um, I was by myself. Mel was at her parents, and then I picked her up a couple hours ago and brought brought the whole family home. So yeah, I've been you know trying to evaluate what I need to do to kind of get better and stay better, and had a lot of time to think about that there, and you know trying not to judge my mistakes, but learn from them. Um, and so, like, my time wasn't completely wasted by going to treatment, but um, there were a lot of things that I felt like could have been so much better, and I could have had a better experience from that. And I wish that, uh, things kind of went a little differently, but, at a certain point, you just have to say it is what it is. Like, I'm not usually the type of person to do this, because I know no program is perfect, but, um, due to the nature of some of the things that I saw, um, happen between me or other patients, um, I felt that, um, I mean, even one of the staff members was like, if DMH, like the Department of Mental Health, comes here, we're fucked. Like, that says a lot to like, because like they had even more insight into how fucked up shit was. So, yeah, so I actually spent like a good 30 minutes on the phone with DMH filing a complaint. But I wanted it to be anonymous because, and I know I'm saying it right now, but like, I don't think they're watching my YouTube. I don't know why anyone watches my YouTube, to be honest. Um, but, uh, but yeah, uh, but yeah, it was like that. I felt like it was necessary. Because aftercare looked really bad for a lot of people, and um, it was really hard to watch some things. So, I'm not gonna dwell on, what was, but, if I can advocate on behalf of people who are currently there or are going to go there, I feel like it's kind of my duty as someone who can advocate for myself. Um, so we'll see kind of, I guess I won't see how that'll turn out. I'm never going back there. Fuck that place. But I made it home, safe and sound. Got my family here. Mel and I are going on a date tonight. So, to the place that we had our like wedding after party at. So I'm really excited for that. And so, yeah. And then I start my next treatment on Monday. I'm having a call with them at 7, which I'm not looking forward to because I just hate intakes. They just take too damn long. And, like, especially if I've already been there, like, just don't make me do it again. Like, why? But anyways, so that's kind of my life. I will be doing 3 to 4 days a week of intensive outpatient. It'll be virtual, so I'll be at home. Um, you forget the luxury of like sleeping in your own bed. Um, and I'm really excited about that. But I made some good friends there. Hopefully, we'll stay in contact. And yeah, so I guess that's pretty much. Hey, Daniel. It's good to see you. But yeah. So I just like for I don't even know why. Like we had like a TV in our rooms, and we had like a couple different options, and one of them was YouTube. So I was like, let me just like see what I posted and make sure I didn't like post anything that was like, I don't know, fucked up or something. And so like one of the last videos I posted, I think it was editing at the time, and I think it might have been because I was doing something else on my shitty computer and I was recording. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I missed you too. I missed all of you. I mean, I consider you all, part of my family, part of my weirdo family, and I'm so happy to be back. But I'm ready to kind of start making some personal changes and hopefully start feeling better, and being a better spouse and better pet parent and better son, and all of that shit. And try not to let shit like surgeries being canceled bother me. um, but yeah, so um, I just appreciate you all being here. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is I tried to watch one of the videos where I was editing, and like the video was like it was super glitchy and like shitty. And is can you all let me know if like is that the quality of video that you see? Because like some of my videos weren't like that, but like I know I have an older computer and I use my computer's camera. So like if you could let me know if if this video, like is this video coming out pretty clear, or is it like really shitty quality? Just let me know, because that would be really helpful as to what I need to do going forward. Also, fun fact, while I was in treatment, my debit card got hacked. Uh, God, I can't catch a break. I tried not to let that be like the thing that sent me over the edge when I was coming back home. But literally, I'm in the car, um, driving to the airport. I get a call from my wife. She's like, "I just checked uh, the bank statement, and there's someone like stole all this money," because she gave me money before I went in, and then we were in the red again, and I was like, I don't understand why I did not spend a cent. Like, so I how did that happen? And then we found out it was like a bogus charge to some place in Canada that doesn't like